At first glance, A Love So Beautiful seems cute, but over the top, simple, derivative, and shallow. It's not. It isn't perfect, but it is important. I feel extremely lucky because I found it completely by accident and it was exactly what I needed. A small, optimistic, joy-filled story with beautiful friendships, romance, and storytelling. And today I want to dive into why I fell in love with this show. To properly do that though, there will be spoilers, so you should probably just go ahead and watch it. The show isn't revolutionary or original in concept, nor does it make meaningful commentary on society or government, but it does explore growth and desire and relationships in a way that few recent shows have. Browsing through Netflix or cable or any other streaming service right now, there are a ton of shows geared towards teens, but most are focused on exploring dark, controversial topics or drama based on jealousy, betrayal, and hurt, or are just pure wish fulfillment. Some are a combination of any of the above, and of course these shows can be good, great even, but they're rarely uplifting and often explore the darker side of humanity, which of course is important too. The world right now is so divided though. There are so many people filled with rage and hurt. It's easier now than ever to express those feelings and spread them. Darkness is easy to find nowadays, and I think that the shows that are being produced are a product of our times, but there's a reason that shows like This Is Us are performing so well. Sometimes, especially now, it's necessary to see light and optimism. That's why I get frustrated with people dismissing entire genres such as romance as unimportant or fluff. A Love So Beautiful is a romance, but it is also an exploration of growing up and what that can mean to the relationships in one's life. It's unabashedly positive, which makes the fleeting, dark, and serious moments land with so much more impact. It captures the innocence and simplicity of being young, but also looks at how that slowly transitions to the more complicated and serious conflicts in one's life. We follow Chen Xiaoxi and her group of friends as they grow from their first year of high school to their last, and then beyond through university and adulthood. But unlike many shows nowadays, their friendship is based on a genuine love of one another, and each does their best to try to protect and care for each other. Xiaoxi is hopelessly untalented at school and sports, but is an amazing artist and is relentlessly optimistic. She's brave enough to wear her heart on her sleeve. She has a huge crush on Zhang Chen, her neighbor since childhood, who's smart and handsome, but he doesn't feel the same way, at least not at first. Wu Bosong, a champion swimmer who grew up with immense pressure and few friends, is in love with Xiaoxi, who's the first person to ever genuinely care for and support him as a friend. Jing Chao is Xiaoxi's tomboyish best friend and is loyal to no end. She's liked by Liu Yang, a charming, geeky fantasy lover. Now, in most shows, this setup would result in cheating, betrayals, jealousy, and hurt. It certainly provides plenty of opportunity for it, and of course those feelings are present in this show, but rarely. Instead, this group acts like friends first, and most of the time they put others' feelings before their own, acting selflessly and considerately while still making your heart ache and stomach flutter. And it's refreshing. I'd like to look at a few episodes that I think explore this well. Most of them fall early on in the show, with episode 3 being one of my personal favorites. In this episode, Chen Xiaoxi runs to be the class monitor to impress and protect Zhang Chen. It's Jing that encourages her to run despite not being as smart or organized as many of the others in her class. Wu Bosong then helps her write her speech by showing her her good qualities. And finally, Liu Yang, as well as the others, hold up signs saying that they believe in her when it's her turn to give her speech. It doesn't end there though, because she ends up tying with Li Wei, another girl who's vying for Zhang Chen's affections, after he votes for her. They're then tasked to collect money for a sports meet over the following week, and on the day that they're supposed to turn it in, Xiaoxi loses her bundle of cash. What follows is fascinating. Miscommunication as a way to create conflict is pretty unanimously hated in storytelling, but this show handles it brilliantly. While the characters often misunderstand each other or a situation, they then do their best to help one another or rectify what they think is the problem. So, Xiaoxi confesses to Jing Chao that she lost the money, and immediately Jing does everything in her power to help find it, eventually being helped by Liu Yang to try to find video footage of where her friend has left it. Wu Bosong notices her absence and tries to discover what's wrong. Xiaoxi is embarrassed of the truth and tells him that she has a stomachache. He then goes on a series of missions to try to get her medication and heat packs for her stomach. Zhang Chen figures out what happened and urges Xiaoxi to think of what she did after collecting the money from him, which helps her realize that she left it in a workbook that she handed in. They then have to sneak into the teacher's office to get the money back. All of this is happening at the same time. Once Zhang Chen recovers the money, Xiaoxi admits to her teacher and the class that she messed up, and she apologizes. The conflict of the episode is simple, but the stakes are important to each of the characters, which sets the stage perfectly for the brilliance of this show, and that is how it builds character through mistakes and through relationships. As I mentioned earlier, the show spans many years, and as it shifts from high school to university to adult life, so too does the tone shift. Like with Harry Potter, much of the innocence is gone by the end, and the more serious conflict and tone lands because we remember the days of innocence and simplicity of their lives in high school. We almost feel nostalgic about their school days. We've fallen in love with these characters, we understand them and relate to them, so their growth is both noticeable and special. In fact, I've felt like each and every one of the main characters at one point or another. I've been embarrassingly and obviously crushy on a guy to the point of almost being creepy. I've watched as the person I liked chased someone else. I've ignored advances from someone nice and geeky because I was fixated on someone hotter and flashier. I've given advice despite not knowing what the hell I was talking about. And I've been afraid to say how I really feel about someone. All of the characters are layered, their motivations are clear, their personality is strong, and context is given as to why they are the way that they are. And unlike many of the problematic shows that I see depicting young romance, their lives don't revolve solely around the object of their affection. Xiaoxi changes the most in this regard as she becomes a more balanced, independent woman, which she's able to do via her relationships, especially with Wu Bo-sung, who teaches her to value herself and her mistakes, her lack of communication with Zhang Chen, and her expectations. She's established, as we've seen in the third episode, to take responsibility for her actions, but after a conflict with Zhang Chen, once she's an adult, she doesn't apologize for something that wasn't her fault, even when he asked her to, something that I'm confident she wouldn't have done as a teenager. She's learned to stand up for herself. I think that some of the best examples of growth are through the romance in the show, which is sometimes handled delicately and sometimes very overt, but is simultaneously heartwarming and heart-wrenching. Wu Bo-sung is the most tragic, as he loves Chen Xiaoxi and does everything he can to simply make her smile, despite knowing that she may never feel the same way. Regardless, she's given him what he's always wanted: friendship, love, and support. In the end, he changes the least of any of them, but I think he had the least to learn. Liu Yang is smitten with Jing Xiao, who is crushing on the school doctor, and it takes a near-death experience for him to finally be able to express his feelings in one beautiful rom-com-y moment. After he does express his feelings, though, he doesn't feel that he can accept the love of Jing Xiao because of his heart condition. He wants to protect her from getting hurt. He had to learn that this was not his decision to make. But Zhang Chen has the slowest and most captivating transformation as his feelings develop. He lost his father at a young age, and both his mother and younger brother lived somewhere else for the majority of his young life. So he had to grow up on his own. He fears loving people as he knows they can leave at any moment, but once he does lose Xiaoxi, who loves him more than anyone he's known, he realizes how living without her is much scarier and harder than committing to and loving her. He learns the most from Xiaoxi and his mistakes in the relationship as friends and as partners. There is very little that I don't like about this show, as it is a universal story about friendship, first loves, and growing up in its nostalgic slice-of-life setting in China. It's something that feels so familiar and yet so unique. It has deceptively beautiful storytelling, and it is exactly the ray of light that I needed in my life. So, thank you, and I hope that you all find a love so beautiful. Alright guys, that is all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different from my usual stuff, but I had a lot of fun writing and making it because I absolutely adore this show and all of the little beautiful intricate moments, and I hope that you guys all watch it, and if you do, I would love to hear your thoughts about it down in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.